Hi. Sorry, I clicked got it like three times and it would not.
Mhm. You're fine, you're fine. So welcome, you're here with Rain. You've got 4 minutes and I'll time you in your chat below. But enjoy your interview.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Rain. How are
Oh,
you?
hi, good. How are you?
Doing well. So, I said this in the other interview, but it is true. I'm so happy that the rom-com is back in this way. I think this movie is so cute, and just feels like those rom-coms that we used to watch back in like the 90s and 2000s. And so for you, what was kind of inspiring about this genre that made you want to tell this, frankly, kind of new take on a rom-com?
I think, to be honest, like I've been in denial about it being a rom-com for such a long time, like because they do cheese me out. Um, but you're right, the 90s ones and the sort of early 2000s are amazing.
Hmm.
Films like Clueless, 10 Things I Hate About You, those films are great. And yeah, I'm by the way, thank you for your kind words. But yeah, I think I'd always kind of weirdly been in denial about it being categorized as a rom-com, which is probably why it feels it feels different. I
Mhm.
definitely didn't go into it kind of going, I'm going to execute this like a rom-com. I was like, I'm going to execute this the way Rain Allen Miller executes a film. And it's turned out to be what it is. And yeah, glad you like it.
Yeah, and I think I was talking to Vivian and Dave before, and I said one of my favorite things about Yaz is that she kind of flips the idea of the like grand gesture in the at the end of a romantic movie on its head because she doesn't, and it doesn't feel forced, which is what I have noticed when they try and flip the script in a lot of romantic movies. It
Mm.
feels like, yeah, you forced the woman to do it instead of it being natural. In this movie, it's very natural in how she kind of takes it on based on their entire relationship throughout it. And so in telling that with such a strong female lead in it, how was it for you on the creative side? Like, was that always something in your mind, or was it just like that is how the story is unfolding and it makes the most sense to make her kind of be that strong and headstrong is kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that
no, I think,
determined.
yeah, it's a really great point that no one's actually made about her kind of, her doing the grand gesture being a slightly different way to look at it. And I think that, when I got the script initially, I worked with the writers on Yaz's character because they're two brilliant writers, but they're both guys. And so that
Mhm.
naturally, it's helpful for them, for me to input on her. And it was a big thing for me that she is the type of person that would do that, right? Like, I think the problem when that's been done before is that the character, it's not really true to the character. So, like
Mhm.
you say, it feels forced because that character wouldn't do that. But Yaz is so the type of person to do that, right?
Yeah,
And so I think it felt right. It didn't, she was the one that was also really mean. So she should be the one that says sorry. And I remember saying, like, we should do this where the woman is the mean one. Why is it always the guy that's the mean one? Um, and yeah, I think it was just, it also wasn't done because we were like, hey, let's flip the script. It was actually done because it made sense with the characters. And it felt right. And also, it's true. Women are also mean sometimes, and women also do make grand gestures.
yeah, and now we have the
We also
movie to prove
open
it.
doors and pay bills.
We do many things. Um, I do also really love in this movie how the stories are told. Like I love when they are telling things about their past, we get to see it. I
Mm,
think it's a really fun way of doing that. Like when they go into the movie theater and it opens up and it is into the movie theater date that he was on, I was like, oh, that this is very, very cool how it unfolds versus, having two people just talk about it.
yeah.
And so for you as a director, like getting to make those kind of those scenes and create those shots where like there are two doms in one scene, is it fun to kind of like figure out how exactly you want to frame those kind of segues into their stories?
Yeah, I mean, when we were developing the script, that was something that I pushed quite hard on sort of trying to elevate those moments as much as possible, those flashbacks, you know. And I think the reason that I did that was because it's kind of true. Like when you're telling a story about something you did, you always imagine yourself as like more of a, you know, an epic version of yourself. Like, oh yeah, I did that. And, you know, you think back here and you're like really articulate and wearing a gown and like standing on a stage when it probably wasn't really like that. I think I like the idea of taking the truth and really elevating it. So yeah, as a director, it's super fun to like find ways to visually show a truth but elevate it. That's kind of my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, and it works really well. I loved the movie a lot, and I know you said you were like wishy-washy on calling it a rom-com, but it felt really nice to be like, yeah, the rom-coms are back, and this is great. I loved going and seeing it and enjoying watching a romantic comedy in a way that I haven't in a really long
Oh,
time.
no, thank you. You're right. I think like I need now I can like feel good about calling it a rom-com because I'm happy with the way mine turned out.
You're like, this was a good one, so yes, it's a rom-com. Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank you.
day.
Nice to meet you.